It doesn't begin with an explosion or a siren. It begins with a flicker so small you almost ignore it. A Tuesday evening in November, cold pressing against the windows. Your living room light blinks once, twice, like a tired eyelid, and then it dies. The refrigerator's hum cuts out mid-breath. The house goes still, as if someone removed the invisible support beams of modern life. You reach for your phone, not even to call, just to confirm reality. No bars, no data, no messages loading. You step to the window and see the streetlights are gone too. Not dim, not scattered. Gone. The neighborhood is a single sheet of darkness under a pale moon. At first, the mind bargains. A local outage, a transformer, a storm you didn't hear. You wait for the familiar return. The click, the surge, the soft resurrection. But minutes become an hour, and the silence only thickens. Outside, doors open. Footsteps. Voices traveling farther than they should because the constant electrical noise is missing. Even the air feels colder without the warmth of screens, chargers, fans and motors. Thousands of tiny machines you never noticed until they stopped. Across the country, the same realization spreads at the same speed as the dark. This isn't a neighborhood problem. It isn't a city problem. Something failed in perfect synchronization. The North American power grid, so vast people mistake it for permanent, went down like a single organism losing consciousness. Whether it was a cyber attack, a solar event, or a cascade of physical failures becomes almost irrelevant compared to the result. The machine has stopped, and the world built on top of it begins to wobble. In the first hours, confusion outruns panic. Elevator cars hang between floors, sealed metal boxes with no sense of direction. Subway trains sit in tunnels where darkness isn't just lack of light, it's lack of reference. Traffic lights die, and intersections turn into tense negotiations made of headlights and hesitation. Car horns rise, fade, and rise again, like an animal testing its voice. Hospitals switch to generators with a heavy mechanical growl. For a moment, the sound feels like safety. Then someone remembers the number. Fuel is measured in hours, not weeks. In apartment buildings, water still runs for a while, coasting on pressure stored in pipes and towers. Some people fill bathtubs, pots and bottles because a quiet part of the brain understands what the rest refuses to say. When the lights go out, other things follow. Morning arrives, and the country feels amputated. Radios become relics with new value. A few stations break through the static with cautious phrases. Ongoing outage. Assessment underway. Remain calm. But nothing stays stable for long. The internet is gone so completely, it feels like a physical injury. No maps, no updates, no confirmation that help is moving. Your phone becomes a smooth, powerless object you keep checking anyway, because habit is stubborn and fear wants a ritual. By day 2, dependence shows in humiliating details. Office towers are useless glass cliffs. ATMs are dark. Card readers won't wake. Gas stations have fuel underground, but pumps can't dispense it. Warehouses sit full of goods that can't be routed or tracked at scale. Just-in-time logistics, modern life's quiet miracle, collapses into not at all. Grocery stores empty fast. At first it happens politely. Carts, lines, strained smiles. Then shelves go bare, and politeness thins, because the brain starts counting days. Food is finite, refrigeration is dead. Every hour turns more of what remains into waste. People choose items the way you choose lifeboat seats. Canned goods, dry grains, baby formula, batteries, candles, basic medicine. Day 3 is when the emergency moves into the body. Water pressure drops, then falters, then fails. Treatment plants require power. Pump stations require power. Control systems require power. Backup generators run until they don't. Faucets cough air. Toilets stop clearing. The city's smell changes slowly. Then all at once, as if the concrete is learning how to decay, cleanliness becomes labor. Thirst becomes a clock you can hear. By the end of the first week, night becomes the hardest part. Darkness isn't only what you can't see, it's what you can't predict. Porches become watch points. Flashlights are used sparingly, like medicine. Batteries become currency. The soundscape changes. Fewer engines, fewer distant televisions, more footsteps, more dogs barking at shapes that might be nothing. Emergency services try to operate, but they were designed for disasters with edges. This has no edges. Fuel runs low. Communications fracture. The focus tightens to a few critical sites, and everything else becomes local. After a month, the United States feels like it traveled backward without moving. Not into the romantic past of lanterns and small towns, but into a stripped-down version of history without the skills that once made it survivable. Most people know passwords. Few know how to purify water consistently, preserve food without refrigeration, or heat a home without turning it into smoke. Cities begin to empty, not all at once. It happens like evaporation. People leave because concrete canyons offer no gardens, no wells, no easy heat for thousands of apartments. Highways become slow rivers of vehicles that eventually turn into rusted dams. Cars abandoned when fuel runs out, when tires fail, when the road ahead becomes rumor. As months pass, rumor becomes governance. A crackling ham radio voice claims partial restoration somewhere distant. Another insists it's misinformation. The cause remains a shadow. Some blame hackers, some blame the sun, some whisper sabotage. The truth is trapped behind broken networks and damaged equipment, and in that absence, the mind fills the dark with stories, because stories are what humans use when they can't see. Winter arrives like a verdict. In northern states, homes become cold containers. People burn furniture, then books, then pieces of their own houses. Smoke hangs over neighborhoods in thin layers that taste like paper and varnish. The night sky, freed from light pollution, becomes brutally bright with stars, beautiful enough to feel cruel. In some places, small communities stabilize by creating hard routines, rationing, shared labor, water collection, repairs. Skills become status. A working hand pump is worth more than money. And then, scattered across the map, the impossible begins. Not a national comeback, not a triumphant moment, just islands of light. A bulb glows for an hour. A few circuits return, fail, and return again. Restoration comes in fragments as crews rebuild from what remains, as damaged sections are isolated and bypassed. Each flicker of power feels like a miracle that might be revoked. A year after the first polite blink, the country that lights up is not the one that went dark. Some places are quieter, thinner, rearranged by absence. Trust in the old system is cracked because everyone now knows how close the edge always was. Electricity is no longer background. It's a presence. A fragile blessing delivered through lines and substations that suddenly look like sacred architecture. And even when screens glow again, when the network hum returns, when the world tries to pretend it was only a long interruption, something stays behind. A new reflex, a new fear. The knowledge that the darkness didn't need drama. It only needed a moment of silence, and a grid that forgot how to stay awake.